Good afternoon. Welcome to Ingomar United Methodist Church. My name is Benjamin Bugaile, and I am the Director of Traditional Music and Worship here at Ingomar United Methodist Church. And I would like to welcome you to the final of Year 4's recitals for our summer recital series. And it is so lovely to see so many familiar faces here. I have a few things to go over before we start. The first thing, and this is hearkening back to previous recitals, if you hear something that's funny, you're allowed to laugh. I just feel like I need to give permission. Secondly, yes, this is the final recital for this year. I did not put myself last in any way, shape, or form because I believe this is best for last. I made myself last because I had 6 songs I had to write in the year of our Lord 2025. And some of them were finished earlier this month. So I give the singers today an awful lot of credit because the first piece was started in February and the last was finished about 2 weeks ago. So I would like to give a special word of thanks to our musicians, Lauren Upchurch, Victoria Dandria, and Franklin Mosley. I could not be more grateful for this group of musicians and, frankly, all of the musicians who have helped make this project happen. And I'd also like to preemptively give thanks for Megan Mountain and Ron Grotchek for reading today, they're going to help bring the poetry to life. So allow me to explain what's going to happen today and about what the heck you're looking at in your program. So you'll see that there are a whopping 6 songs today, only 6 pieces of music. Some of them are extremely short, some of them are a little bit longer. And you see those 6 on the inner page. You see the credits for the people that are making today happen. On the other side of the page are the details about the Art Song Project. The Art Song Project for me is something that started 10 years ago, and it actually, oddly enough, started on a bike ride along the Potomac coming from Mount Vernon back up to Arlington. And I was riding my bike, and the endorphins just started releasing, and I started hearing music, and I was not having a medical event. And so I kept biking, and I kept singing this melody to myself. I heard this melody, I heard this accompaniment, and thus the first art song I ever composed in 2015, She Walks in Beauty, was born. And so, being somebody who really loves to make parameters within to work for creating things, I said to myself, okay, well, that's going to be in D major, and that's kind of got a little bit of oomph to it. There are 23 other key signatures. Why don't we just write 24 art songs, 1 in each key signature? And of those art songs, 6 will be for sopranos, 6 will be for mezzo, 6 will be for tenor, and 6 will be for bass baritone. And while we're at it, we're going to divide those 6 into groups of 3. So there will be 3 major and 3 minor. And of those 3 major and 3 minor, there will be 1 that is up-tempo, 1 that is moderato or dynamically tempoed, and 1 that is slow. So that's what you're looking at. If you look at this sheet and you're going, what in the heavens are all of these songs listed here? They go in order, fun fact. They go in order. So the top song you see for each voice type is the fastest. So It's All I Have to Bring Today, which was sung by Lauren. That's the fastest one for soprano that I've written. Same with the obad or obeyed, potato, potato, and so forth. So the fastest piece is first in major. The second piece is moderato or dynamic in major. And the third piece is the slower in major. And the same applies to the minor, which are the 3 below that. So now that you see how neurotic I am with how I've developed this project, I want to give thanks for everybody who's made this happen. You can see that we have listed all of the singers who have helped make this project happen. Some of them are here today. Michael Billick, I see you out there. And we have our readers, and we have readers here. I saw Elizabeth Burns somewhere. There she is. Yeah, so I give thanks for everybody, and we also give thanks for our sponsors who've made this program happen. They're all on the back here. There's also a banner in the narthex, which lists them as well. Trying to think. There's a basket if you'd like to donate to the recital series, to the music ministry of this church, and to the musicians that are helping make today's program happen. There's going to be plenty more talking to come, so I'm going to stop talking. And at this time, I'm going to invite our first vocalist and our first reader up to the microphones. Because what's going to happen forgot to mention this. The reader is going to read the poetry so you can hear it as it is spoken. The singer is going to sing the poetry, and then we're going to talk about it, because I don't want to tell you what to listen for, because then you'll just listen for that and miss everything else. So I want you to have your own experience with it. So without further ado.
Our first poem is Dream Valley, Memory Hither Come, by William Blake. Memory hither come, and tune your merry notes, and, while upon the wind your music floats, I'll pour upon the stream where sighing lovers dream, and fish for fancies as they pass within the watery glass. I'll drink of the clear stream and hear the linnet's song, and there I'll lie and dream the day along. And when night comes, I'll go to places fit for woe, walking along the darkened valley with silent melancholy.
So if you look at the inside of your program, you'll notice 2023, 2017, 2024, 2016, so on and so forth. And then you'll notice that every single piece this year is from 2025. So it was February, and I was sitting there going, I have no idea where to begin, because every other year I've had a piece I can pull from yesteryear and say, yeah, this is going to be great. And this time I went, oh no, I have 0 things prepared. And so I was sitting at the piano at home, and I just went, and it was like, okay, and the piece needs to be in E minor to finish this neurotic little puzzle. And I originally was going to set a different poem by a different poet. It was going to be, September Midnight by Sarah Teasdale, so that'll probably happen later. But this poem, which I'm familiar with the Roger Quilter setting of it, It ended really happily. It was like in silent melancholy, and it was in D major. And I thought that's a little bit too shimmery for something that's talking about silent melancholy. William Blake wrote this early in his life, very early in his life. And there's a lot of subjectivity in this, and it's very dreamy, and it's not too black and white and stern, which was very in vogue at the time in England. He was like, what if I make this a little bit blurry? So it almost is kind of impressionistic with the way that it is, and it's inviting memory to come alongside of us so that we can experience the goodness of yesteryear. So there's some darker themes today, just a heads up. Some things that were kind of going throughout the whole thing, I will tell you. I was trying to go for the sense of water. That's what the triplets you heard most of the time were. That's the swelling of the water. It's also the wind upon which your music floats. That was also the intention, so that the music, which was Lauren, surprise, she was floating upon the accompaniment underneath of her. There were a few other things that were happening throughout it. For those of you who love their music theory, there were a few moments where we played with some almost Neapolitan kind of flavors, going from E flat major down to D major. It sounds really strange whenever we go. Feels a little bit crunchy, but in this context, that was the goal, was to make that work. And the other thing I will say, for those of you who are eagle-eared, I changed the meter of the triplets almost every measure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, back and forth, so that it was kind of shifting and it never felt like it was entirely within grasp, like a dream. So, originally I was going to go with the title of Memory Hither Come, which is what William Blake named it, but Roger Quilter hit the nail on the head with Dream Valley. All of that to say, that was piece number 1. The next piece will be There Will Be Rest, and I will invite the next reader and the next vocalist to the microphones.
There Will Be Rest by Sarah Teasdale. There will be rest, and sure stars shining over the rooftops crowned with snow. A rain of rest, serene forgetting, the music of stillness, holy and low. I will make this world of my devising, out of a dream in my lonely mind. I shall find the crystal of peace. Above me, stars I shall find.
There will be rest.
it's inside joke time. So the first recital that Victoria sang in, her pieces were a total of like 11 pages. Today she has 5. So everybody else had a recital where they had less pages, and it's finally your turn. You're welcome. You're very welcome. So Sarah Teasdale's There Will Be Rest, originally, again, this was originally going to start off as something else. And let me say, when you're at the end of a project and you only have 6 key signatures to work with, you start to dread certain key signatures, and there are certain things you don't want to do and you've been putting off because you hate them. And C major sometimes just feels not great. So I thought, how can I make C major not feel like C major at all? And so we went with something a little bit more melancholic, something a little bit more sad. And so we went with this poem, There Will Be Rest. We being myself as a singular person. Sorry about that. So I was originally going to do William Butler Yeats' When You Are Old, which is equally devastating, but for different reasons. Instead, this was the poem that kind of came out of the woodwork. And as Franklin reminded me, I believe we sang a setting of this by Frank Kelly back at IUP 84 years ago. That's correct, Franklin. Yeah. And this poem never really spoke to me until I started reading more about it. And I will say this without going too far into detail, a little bit of a trigger warning. This was the last poem that Sarah Teasdale had ever written. And it is about passing away and what's on the other side. So it doesn't necessarily need to be looked at through that lens, but I'm giving you a context as to what it was to her. A lot of people will look at this piece and they see the promise of it, and they see this reassurance, the other side, the idea of being among the stars, and that's beautiful. And I think we can cling to that. I think that's worth diving into a little bit. So I don't want everyone to look at that and go, well, that's just depressing. No, think of it as a comfort, because, I mean, the text says, there will be rest and sure stars shining over rooftops crowned with snow. Like, that's not a dark image. That's not a depressing image. That's a promise. And I think there's something lovely about that. Musically, I tried to play with E flat to add a little bit of darkness at certain points, but I also went a little bit modal. And for those of you who are not familiar with modes, in music, we have a number of modes. And in college, the only mode I knew was a la mode. And I told that to my teacher at the time, and she said, if you didn't hear that, that was a sigh. So I wanted there to be a sense of brightness, and Lydian mode is often considered to be the brightest mode. So if we're in E flat major, Lydian goes. If we're in E flat major without Lydian, it's fine. Lydian is. So when we get to the music of stillness, and then we bring it back down to a place that is holy and low, it's the lowest note in the entire song. Holy and low is that G. And then we sound like we're going somewhere. I will make this world of my devising. It's the singer recapturing the world and taking control of this. When we're finding the crystal of peace, we have a very jarring jump from this G major sonority to a D major 7, and then back to kind of cradling us on our way down. And then in Stars Shall I Find, the accompaniment becomes those stars. Which I can't play around a microphone terribly well, but I appreciate it all the same, Josh. Thank you. So that was There Will Be Rest. A friend of mine and a friend of the Recital series, Nathan Carteret, he had a longtime friend pass away, and her name was Erin Keller, and this is dedicated to her memory. Because of the stories he would tell me of her, I felt like this sense of rest after having a sickness for a long time. I felt like this could be a nice way to to sing her to heaven, as it were. So without further ado, I would like to invite the next singer and the next reader to the microphones. Sorry for that stare off. Franklin and I go way back.
This is O Mistress Mine, Where Are You Roaming? From Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. O mistress mine, where are you roaming? O stay and hear your true love's coming, that can sing both high and low. Trip no further, pretty sweeting, journeys end in lovers' meeting, every wise man's son doth know. What is love? 'Tis not hereafter, present mirth hath present laughter. What's to come is still unsure. In delay there lies no plenty. Then come, kiss me sweet and 20. Youth's a stuff will not endure.
O mistress mine, where are you roaming? O stay and hear your true love's coming, that can sing both high and low. Trip no further, pretty sweeting, journeys end in lovers' meeting, every wise man's son doth know. What is love? 'Tis not hereafter, present mirth and present laughter. What's to come is still unsure. In delay there lies no plenty. Then come kiss me sweet and 20. Youth's a stuff will not endure, will not endure. O mistress mine, where are you roaming? Where are you roaming?
For those of you who like composers, for me, this is my Ivor Novello and Roger Quilter had a child sort of thing, which Franklin and I had a chuckle about earlier. So let's go back to, I always look at this because it has the date. Let's go back to June of 2007. And I had started voice lessons with this wonderful woman named Miss Marcia Owens. And she was my first voice teacher. She was my high school choir director. And she was my musical mother. And I love her very much, and I will love her for the rest of my life. And she passed away 10 years ago. So this was dedicated to her because she introduced me to art song. I was not aware of art song's existence until Marcia Owens was like, "It's time for you to learn repertoire." And I said, what are we going to work on? And she pulls this out, and I was in love. And "O Mistress Mine" by Roger Quilter was one of those pieces. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I said, I'm not going to set this one because I think it's already perfect. And then I was running out of time. And I thought, okay, B flat minor, I wanted to do something that has a little bit of charm and a little bit of like fun to it. And O Mistress Mine actually kind of fits that bill, being from Twelfth Night, because Twelfth Night is a little bit funny and charming and lovely. So that kind of is where that came from. But B flat minor, the personality doesn't feel like it's there until I decided, okay, what if we go with like the D flat major 6 kind of relation, which is that kind of that jazzy. That's that kind of sound. Yeah, I'm not going to do any other licks with that. So yeah, this poem is near and dear to my heart. First art song that I ever learned. And actually, the first time I showed Franklin Mosley a picture of Marcia Owens, he looked at it and he said, "Glory to God, she's beautiful." And she was. She was a wonderful, wonderful educator, genuinely cared about her students first, and I miss her every day of my life. A few little kind of code sorts of things in this piece. Everybody has a musical calling card. Mine is the fully diminished 7 chord. You have heard all 3 fully diminished 7 chords that exist. It is always the same. It's just doing cartwheels. It's always the same 4 notes. So I decided to use some of that to make this piece interesting whenever it was kind of cartwheeling over itself and to get us to destinations that we weren't necessarily ready for. Yeah. Sorry, I think of her whenever I look at this, and I just think I think she would have gotten a kick out of this. I'm going to take this minute to plug and give thanks for my very, very dear friend, Maximilian Esmis, who's getting married next month, actually. Very exciting. He is the person that takes everything from books like these, where my chicken scratch is running rampant, and he puts them into formats that look like this, that anybody here could read. So I give thanks to Max, who also, when I'm going over these pieces, there will be moments, like at the very end, "Oh, mistress mine, where are you roaming?" I said to him on the phone, I said, "Do you think, Max, that it should go up to D flat?" He said, "No." And I said, "Well, why, I think maybe like that kind of Broadway finish might be too much." He said, "Oh, it's not that." He said, "You don't say roaming, roaming. You say roaming." And I went, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." So, "Oh, mistress mine, where are you roaming?" It wouldn't, you don't kick the end of that word. And Franklin certainly didn't. So thank you very much. Your voice was in my head the entire time. Actually, all 3 of your voices were in my head the whole time I wrote these, because I had you picked out before the music was even written. So I give thanks for all of you, and especially again to Maximilian Esmis. I know you're watching. I know you're watching. So let's move on to one more Shakespeare writing, and I'll invite the next 2 readers to the microphone. And, well, reader and singer.
Right. Obeyed by William Shakespeare. Hark, hark, the lark at heaven's gate sings, and Phoebus gins arise, his steeds to water at those springs on chaliced flowers that lies. And winking merry buds begin to ope their golden eyes. With everything that pretty been, my lady sweet, arise, arise, arise.
I told you there were some short ones. That is about 1 minute long. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't count as a song. It's 3 pages. Okay? And I'll tell you, what do you do when you have a least favorite key signature? You make it the shortest piece you possibly can. And so I I love what an obede or an obad is. So for those of you who don't know, it's the opposite of a serenade. So it's a love song for the morning. It's a love song where two people are parting. So that's what this is about. And in the entire piece, I tried to keep having a sense of rising, not just in the bass line, which you'll hear, you already heard constantly. It was a lot of that. There's also a lot of other passages. So the whole thing just keeps rising the entire time. There's some moments where it's going down, but generally it's on the rise. And we have a few other Lydian ideas. And we actually also have a call and response between the piano and the vocalist. That was on purpose. And the piano then goes. And then also goes up the scale right after the voice. One of my favorite things about working with Victoria is the fact that as a mezzo, she is a real mezzo, which means she has all the way down here, and she also has. So thank you. This is also the last piece for mezzo in the entire Art Song project, so thank you for singing all 6 pieces over 3 recitals. So yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I love what an obad is. I do not like A major. I don't want to get into it. We can talk later. Maybe I'll have something formed. Actually, it's probably because I played the violin for 10 years of my life, and everything was centered around D major. And so I was like, A is good for getting us back to D. That's probably what it is. I'll talk about it someday with someone. Let's keep moving, folks. We've got... I will not say anything more than I will invite the next vocalist and reader to their microphones.
It's Under Your White Stars by Abraham Sitzkever. This is translated from Yiddish. Under your white stars, stretch to me your white hand. My words are tears. They want to rest in your hand. See, their spark dims through my penetrating cellar eyes, and I don't have a corner from which to return them to you. And yet, I still want, dear God, to confide in you all that I possess. For in me rages a fire, and in the fire my days. But in cellars and in holes the murderous quiet weeps. I run higher over rooftops and I search. Where are you? Where? Something strange pursues me across stairs and yards with lament. I hang a ruptured string and I sing to you. Under your white stars, stretch to me your white hand. My words are tears. They want to rest in your hand.
Under your white stars, cellars and in halls, the murder's quiet weeps. On higher over rooftops, and I search, where are you, Something strange pursues me across the stairs and yours with the band. I hang a ruptured string and I sing to you. Under your white stars, stretch to me your white hand. My words are tears that want to rest in your hand.
Thank you. Thank you, Franklin. This, I peek behind the curtain. This was the hardest thing I've ever had to write. And I know I don't have to write this, but I was very inspired by Laurie Laitman's Seed of a Dream, which if you're not familiar with it, please go listen to it. It's stunning. All of the poetry is by Avraham Sutzkever, who was a Russian Jew and was forced out of Vilnius, Lithuania, to Vilna to reside in the ghettos. And there were, of course, inhumane conditions there. He wrote this poem, I believe, in 1943, and it is the most translated poem from the ghettos, I believe, in history. I believe so. Into more languages than any other language, and there are documentaries where his daughter is talking about the moment that he conceived this. His daughter, who was able to live, for lack of better words. This poem is devastating, and I'd known I wanted to go a devastating route with G sharp minor because G sharp minor is a very, very, very dark. There's a number of different characteristics in minor key signatures, but G sharp minor feels languid to me, and it feels like there's no room for Picardy third with G sharp minor. It feels like it's in this dark and awful place. To go through a few things that were kind of going on in this. There was a motif that you absolutely heard many times. That is the constancy of God. That is the shimmering of the stars. That is what that is supposed to represent. So anytime you hear that motif, that is God saying, I am in fact here. So when Franklin sang, "Where are you, where?" and the line comes in, it's God saying, "I am in fact still here," is the intention there. But we'll get into some other motifs here for a second. See, their spark dims through my penetrating stellar eyes, and I don't have a corner from which to return them from you. I accidentally kind of went with a little bit of I kind of went modal again, which is very common in the Jewish tradition. It just kind of worked out that way. I wasn't thinking about it. It just felt right to go to that kind of changing gears quickly. And yet I still want, dear God, was intended to almost sound like Les Mis. What is that? God on high? Let him, thank you. No, between Victoria and Megan, they could reenact the entirety of Les Mis. That's a conversation for another time, and I really look forward to it. Exactly, let him live. That's kind of what I was going for here, and when I was talking with Franklin, and I was trying to describe to him the energy of this section, he said, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. And I said, yes, it is weeping. And Franklin, being the consummate musician that he is, was able to just, I was getting misty, I will say, so thank you. Then we have in the Fire My Days, we have the chords that are sort of roaring outward, then we come back to the cellars and the holes where it's just lost and it's sad. And then I Run Higher, we have some kinesis. But everywhere we turn, we cannot find God, or so we think. And then we are Pursued, which is the back and forth of the piano where it starts to get very, very loud. And then again, in the trigger warning category, I hang a ruptured string and I sing to you, is the penultimate phrase of the poem, which then leads to, we're singing to God again, which is when we get back to, under your white stars, stretch to me your white hand. My words are tears that want to rest in your hand. The first time I ever heard this was at IUP, and I believe it was Andrew Gorenz who I heard sing it for the first time, so thank you, Andrew. You have also contributed to this. And Robert Bildstein actually also did this. Not this setting. Obviously, this was finished last month. Franklin, thank you. So I will talk about the last piece because we don't need to close on me talking. So the last piece on the program is called The Golden Door, and it's had many titles. Some of you might know it better as The New Colossus, which is a poem by Emma Lazarus. Now, the New Colossus, this light is, we'll see what happens. The New Colossus, and yes, I'm picking up the microphone, but I'm not going to dance like Elvis right now, a day after his death anniversary. There's a very, very deep inside joke that you can ask anybody in the D'Andrea family after this program about. It's not a joke, it's serious. So, Emma Lazarus wrote this poem in the mid-late 1800s. She was a Jewish American, and this is the back half of the New Colossus. It's, well, I was just about to recite it, but I'm not stealing your thunder, heavens. This text is also found in the base of the Statue of Liberty. So this poem is about, and again, I'm going to give you some imagery early, which I typically don't do. This poem is about welcoming the stranger. It's about welcoming those who are seeking a better life and taking them in and giving them harbor. And it was so substantial that it has made its way to the Statue of Liberty. And so thinking about, there's a scene in The Godfather Part 2, which I'm not saying like inspired this, but it kind of did, where the immigrants are coming into the harbor on the boat, and they are looking, and it just has this, it's one of the best moments in cinematic history. But there's this sense of the boats being on the water, and so I wanted to have, you'll hear a motif that's kind of like this. Which that's supposed to sound like the waves, it's supposed to sound like white caps. It's supposed to sound like you can see the little glimpses of the water, and then it gets a little bit more harrowing with some of the goofiest time signatures I've ever used, including 12/8 and 10/8 and 6/8 and 8/8. 8/8 made its way in here. It's like a sin against humanity to go with 8/8, but we did. But there's some moments. So it never sounds secure because waves aren't generally secure. So if this boat is coming into harbor and it's bringing in the wretched refuse of your teeming shore, it's not going to sound like row, row, row your boat. It's going to sound a little bit more dramatic than that. Thank you, Franklin. But yeah, the first setting I heard of this was Lee Hoybee's, and I believe it's called Lady of the Harbor. Lee Hoybee and I have never met. And I would love to meet Lee Hoybee if he's still, well, never mind, folks. Lee Hoybee wrote great music, and the music that he wrote also made me go, I want to try my hand at that. So Jabberwocky, which Victoria sang a couple of years ago, that was a very prominent setting of Jabberwocky, was Lee Hoybee's. Same with his Lady of the Harbor. So that inspired me, but actually back to Franklin again, because it all goes back to years ago. When we were in Delta Omicron together, which is a professional music fraternity, Franklin brought a setting of this, Give Me You're Tired, You're Poor. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But it's very sweet, and it's very lovely, and it goes something like this. Hot masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Is that right? All right. Irving Berlin said this, and it's beautiful. And I would encourage all of you to listen to this as well. This is not that. This is not gentle. This is not sweet. This is angry. This is very angry. So I will let Lauren do the singing. I will let Megan do the reading. And I just want to say one more time, thank you so, so much for being here this afternoon. It's so lovely to see so many familiar faces. Seeing this project to the very end, which in February I thought, oh crap. And I've asked these people, and I don't have any music written for them yet. And, oh boy. And here you all are. We rehearsed last week, everybody. And here we are. So, without further ado.
The Golden Door by Emma Lazarus. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuge of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Your
Thank you all again for coming. If you want to know what's coming next, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know what it is yet, and I don't have to think about it for a long time. So the Art Song Project is over. Thank you all again so much for being here, and thanks for making the Summer Recital Series happen, gang.